Hi everyone, welcome back to the Math Culture channel. Today we will be discussing another part of factorization. There are several parts of factorization. This is like our third class. Please check out our videos here. Factorization means splitting a number or algebraic expression into two or more numbers or expressions such that when you multiply these expressions together, it gives back the original expression. So the case we'll be discussing today is those of trinomial of the general form ax squared plus bx plus c. And the algorithm to get this factorization done is that number one, you will think about two numbers such that their sum is equal to b. B is the constant in this trinomial. Secondly, you check in with these two numbers to determine that their product is the same as the product of A and C. You should also know and keep in mind that these two numbers may be the same or they may be different. What that means is that you could get a factor that repeats one more time, okay? And the two factors could be purely different expressions. Let's take an example to kind of drive the point home. So here we're required to factor x squared minus 7x plus 6. So the first thing we want to do here is to compare the expression that we're given to the general form that was in the previous page. So the general form is ax squared plus bx, plus c. So in this case, our a is equal to 1, because when you compare a with this, you see that there's 1 here, even though it's not expressly written. B will be equal to minus 7, and c will be equal to 6. So the algorithm says that we're looking for two numbers such that their sum would be equal to b, equal to minus 7, and their product, or when you multiply those two numbers together, the product will be equal to the product of a and c, and that's equal to 1 times 6, and that's equal to 6. So the best way to go about looking for these numbers or guessing these numbers would be to create a table. So my first guess of the number I'll label as 1, the second one I'll label as 2, and their sum I'll list under that, the product as well I'll list under that, and then I want to check in with those numbers to know whether their product is the same as AC. So let's get started, okay? So number one, we are looking for two numbers such that their product, such that their sum is minus 7. So what quickly comes to mind right now is minus 2 and minus 5. And that is some of them is definitely, some of the both of them is definitely minus 7. But the product of minus 2 and minus 5 is 10. So that test was not passed, okay? The product we're looking for is plus 6. Plus 6. Now, let's think of another two numbers such that their sum is equal to minus 7. Another number that comes to mind is minus 8 and plus 1. Definitely, again, the sum is 7 and the product is minus 8. So that test or those numbers did not pass the test. So another one that comes to mind quickly is minus 6 and minus 1. Definitely their sum is minus 7 and thankfully their product is 6. So this one passes the test. So these are the two numbers we're looking for, negative 6 and negative 1. So we write that expression that was originally given to us. x squared minus 7x plus 6. Remember, the two numbers that pass the test is minus 6x minus x, which is also the same as minus 1x plus 6. So what is the greatest common factor between these two? That would be x minus 6. What's the greatest common factor between this and this? That would be minus 1. So that x minus 6. So note that these two numbers in brackets must always be the same. And if they are the same, that means you can rewrite this whole expression as x minus 1. That is this x minus 1, the bracket x minus 6. So the factors of that original expression would be x minus 1 and x minus 6. Let's take another example to provide further clarification. So in this one, we want to be factorizing 3x squared plus 7x plus 4. 3x squared plus 7x plus 4. Again, remember, we need to compare with the general trinomial equation that was previously provided. So in this case, when we compare our A equal to 3, B is equal to 7, and C is equal to 4. Remember, we're looking for two numbers such that their sum will be equal to 7, right? Which is B, and their product will be equal to product of A and C, which is AC, and that would be 3 times 4, and that is 12. So we're looking for two numbers such that when you add them together, the answer is 7, and when you multiply them together, the answer is 12. So let's create our table again. First number I'm thinking of, I'll write it under here. The second here, their sum, and I'll check in with their product, of course. And I want to see to be sure that these numbers are passing the test or are satisfying the condition. So the first number that comes to mind for me is or are two numbers that we want to add together to give us 7. So that would be 1 and 6. The sum is 7 and the product is 6. But the product we're looking out for here is what? 12. So that does not pass. The second one that comes to mind for me is plus 8 and minus 1. The sum of that is definitely 7, but the product is 8, so it doesn't pass the test. The other one that comes to mind for me is 5 and 2. The sum is definitely 7, but the product is 10, so it doesn't pass the test. Another one that comes to mind for me is 3 and 4. Of course, the sum is 7 again, but the product at this time is 12, so that test is passed. So let's go back to the original expression. 3x squared plus 7x plus 4. Remember, the two numbers that passed or satisfied the conditions are 3x and 4, which becomes 4x, of course, plus 4. Now, what's the greatest common factor between this and this? That's definitely 3x, if you take a good look. 3x into 3x squared remains x plus 1. What's the common factor here? 4. X plus 1. And of course, because these two expressions in the bracket are the same, we can easily rewrite that expression as 3x plus 4. Remember, you need to combine this and this. and of course x plus 1. So definitely the factors of that expression, 3x squared plus 7x plus 4, are 3x plus 4 and x plus 1. That's everything I have for you for today. But before we go, I'd like you to try out these exercises. They are simple exercises. Just follow the exact same steps we just concluded and you should be able to solve them. Remember, practice makes perfect. The only way to get better at math is to make sure that you are practicing problems every day. Thank you and see you later. Bye bye.